Hello everyone, I hope you're all having a very good day. This is Muhammad Nabilur Rahman once again with you, and the student of DBA in California Intercontinental University. Today is our fourth unit presentation, and the topic which has been given to us is conducting a correlational analysis. So first of all, let's see agenda. What I'm going to discuss with you is first of all correlation, then relations among the variables. Then I'm going to plot the scatter plots for you. Later on, we will discuss the important takeaways and question and answer lastly. So due to shortage of time, I'm just moving straight forward to the correlation. Correlation is a measure of how things are related. We are going to see two variables, either they are affecting each other or not. Correlation is a statistical measure that indicates the extent to which two or more variables fluctuate together. Obviously, we'll see it will be a positive correlation if one variable increases and it increases the other variable as well, or vice versa. If one decreases, the other decreases as well. On this, while negative correlation means that if one variable increases, it will affect the decreasing in the other variable. So this is what the correlation is about. And let's move to the other part of this presentation. We have been given the Excel file which we put in PSPP to find either there is a significant relation among two variables or not. Basically, we have to see the 10 different variables. First of all, it's income and debt. Two variables are being given. So the first hypothesis, the null hypothesis, will be there is no correlation between the income and debt. An alternative hypothesis says there is a correlation between income and debt. While running the PSPP, uh, PSSPP is also an other side of SPSS, which is alternative software to it. So what we have done here, we go to the analysis section, and then we clicked on the bivariate correlation. There we have found the dialog box. We put the income and debt here, and then we found the result here that the correlation coefficient and its p-value were calculated using PSPP. Alpha is 0.05 in every case, so it doesn't mean either we are going to repeat it or not. So what we found that there is no significant correlation because the p-value here is 0.535, which is more than 0.05. So the test failed to reject the null hypothesis and concluded that there is no correlation between income and debt. Here you can see the scatter box. We can see the bubbles are too far away from the line, so we can say that there is no relation between these two variables. Let's move to the next slide. It's income and saving. Second hypothesis, what we have made here null hypothesis, is there is no correlation between income and savings, and there is a correlation between income and savings. It's an alternative hypothesis. What we after putting the values in the PSPP software, what we found that test reject the null hypothesis, and it conclude that there is a correlation between income and savings. So if we reject the null hypothesis, it means we are going to accept the alternative hypothesis, which says there is a correlation between income and saving. Why did we accept the alternative hypothesis and reject the null hypothesis? Because the p-value here is 0.000, which is less than 0.05, and we can see the bubbles are almost connecting the lines here, nearby to the line, so we can say that we are going to accept the alternative hypothesis. Okay, third hypothesis about income and stocks. Making out the null hypothesis, there is no correlation between the income and stocks, and alternative hypothesis says there is a correlation between income and stocks. So what we have done here, we again run the PSPP software, we move to analysis and analyze, and then we move to the bivariate correlation, where we found that test reject the null hypothesis and conclude there is a correlation between income and stocks. Why we have done it? Because the p-value is less than the p-value is less than 0.05, so we reject the null hypothesis. You can see the scatter plot here. Bubbles are again not nearby to the line, so we reject the null hypothesis as it has been discussed before. Moving on to the fourth hypothesis, it's between income variable and wallet variable. So we have found the significant result, but making a hypothesis, alternative hypothesis, there is a correlation between income and wallet, but null hypothesis says there is no correlation between income and wallet. So we reject the null hypothesis. Why? Because p-value is less than 0.00. This is mean that it means that the scatter plot, when we draw the scatter plot, line is bubbles are nearby to line. Well, this is an ideal situation. Zero, all the bubbles are near to the line, and it is a, I don't know either it happens or not. It's an ideal situation. Why it happens so? But moving on to the next, it is about the debt and saving. Uh, we found that there is no significant result. The alternative hypothesis again says there is a correlation between debt and savings, and null hypothesis says there is a no correlation between debt and saving. So here in the presentation segment, we have just ordered to put the values here, that either the we are going to accept the result or not, either there is a significant relation or not. We are not being said that we have to put SPS PSPP working out there. So we have just written out the presentation here. We failed to reject the null hypothesis as the p-value is 0.748, means it's more than 0.05. Here we need to see that the r is in negative. So what we are seeing here, the line is from debt to saving is not increasing, it's not going upward, it's going downward. So after seeing the scatter plot, we can just identify it. Yes, it's in a decreasing way, it's a negative relation, and this again there the bubbles are not near to the line. So moving on the next side, it's between depth and stock. So null hypothesis will be there is a no correlation between debt and stocks, and alternative hypothesis will be there is a correlation between debt and stocks. So we have measured the p-value, we have calculated it via PSPP, and we know that the alpha here is 0.05. So r is again in a negative way, so we can say the line will be on a decreasing way. P-value is 0.555, which is more than 0.05, which means that we failed to reject the null hypothesis. There is a no significant correlation found. So what we are going here, we are going to accept the null hypothesis. You can see here the line is moving downward. Debt and wallet is our seventh hypothesis here. Null hypothesis says there is no correlation between debt and wallet, and there is a correlation between debt and wallet is our alternative hypothesis. Alright, then we moving on further. We have put the values again in PSPP, and then we again analyze it. We found that there is a no significant correlation. Again, our value is in negative, and we failed to reject the null hypothesis because finding p-value is 0.533, which is more than alpha value. So here we can see we reject to fail the values because a line is moving downward, and you can see the scatter box are almost nearby to the line, almost. Eighth hypothesis says, null hypothesis says there is no correlation between savings and stocks, and the alternative hypothesis says there is a correlation between savings and stocks. What we found here, the r value is positive, the line must move upward. The p-value is 0.00, which is less than 0.05. We are going to reject the null hypothesis here. What null hypothesis says there is no correlation between saving and stocks. So when we reject a null hypothesis, we can say that there is a correlation between saving and stock. Savings has an effect on stocks. So finding the scalar box here, we are finding the line moving upward, not downward, and the bubbles here are almost nearby to the line. Let's move to the ninth hypothesis. It's between savings and wallet. Following correlations test was conducted. Null hypothesis says there is no correlation between the savings and wallet. On the other side, if we see the alternative hypothesis says there is a correlation between savings and wallet. So here we can see R is 0.90, moving very upward. The trend is going to the positive, and p-value is again 0.00. The test rejects the null hypothesis, and we can say that there is an effect of savings on the increasing or decreasing of the wallet. So lines going upward, very upward, it means that the bubbles are near to the plots are near to the line. We can say that we are going to reject the null hypothesis, and there is a relation between savings and the wallet. All right, already 11 minutes have been gone to this presentation. I will definitely try to cut it into short and moving very fast. We are into the 10th hypothesis, which is our last hypothesis. And the null hypothesis says there is a no correlation between stocks and wallet. And then alternative hypothesis says there is a correlation between stocks and wallet. Alpha value is 0.05, again R is again positive 0.19, p value is 0.017, which is less than our alpha value. What we are going to here, we are going to reject null hypothesis and going to accept the alternative hypothesis. Alternative hypothesis is there is a correlation between stocks and wallet. What we are seeing here, the line is moving upward. So what we have done here, we have just put out our whole graph. We have tested out our hypothesis. What we have done there, again, we have our file in Excel sheet. We have put in PSPP. We went to analyze section, then we went to the bivariate correlation. We put our values, our variables in a dialog box. We click OK, then we found the result in an output form, and again we go to the graph, we put the scatter plot there, and we have found all of our results. All right, so what important takeaways I got it from this presentation, from this PSPP file, from this whole procedure? We can perform correlation test in PSPP via bivariate correlation test, which I have just discussed before, and by help of scatter plots, we can easily identify the relation among two variables. First of all, either there is a relation between two variables or not, either they are correlate with each other or not, and what is the direction, either one moves up, brings the other down or upward. So this is very helpful for us. So thank you very much, thank you again very much for watching this presentation. If you feel anything to be discussed, we are free. You can or message me in the discussion platform, or what you can do, you can simply email me at nabil_2054@hotmail.com. So best of luck for your presentation. It's all from my side. Bye bye.